Okay, listen up.
Before we left.
This is our last dev update of the year, and before we get into some of the things you'll see in Season 1 2026, we wanted to thank you all for being on the journey with us this year.
As always, we want to show some love for your passion, for keeping us honest, and for making working on this game so worth it. Now, in January, we'll be back to talk more about Season 1, as well as a little bit of what to expect for the rest of 2026 overall.
Nice.
But for now, let's get into it.
We learned a lot this year about seasons. Many of you liked what came with the themes, the map art updates, metagames, new champions, and champ updates overall, for example. But we also saw that if we leaned too hard into a region, it could feel very one note, especially when it comes to skins. And as it turns out, there is too much of a thing like Noxus.
A lot of red
Why
and
do you mean
black.
turn it up, Baldy? Chill out.
So, we'll continue to find the right balance for thematic seasons moving forwards. And speaking of which, it's time to talk about Season 1 of 2026.
There you go.
For this, we wanted a contrast from 2025, with its ancient danger, a dark inn, and quite a bit of scheming throughout. So next year, we want to kick things off with themes of unity, hope, and justice, with a drop of righteous judgment thrown in.
Demacia. League of Legends for Demacia. Oh my god.
That means
Damn,
Petrosite,
that looks
gold,
cool.
and blue accents on the map, as
That
well
looks
as
cool.
some Demacia-themed skins,
Hold up.
including some champions reimagined
Ooh, is
as
that
Demacians,
Renekton or
with
what? Or is that
plenty
Cho'Gath?
of non-Demacia skins for some variety.
I have no idea what that is.
It also means that the yearly cinematic in January will feature Demacian champions. We're going back to old school Demacia this time, back in time to what some might consider
Morgana?
the golden age of Demacia, when it was a beacon of hope and a bastion of justice.
Hey, Andre, are we forgetting something?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Yeah, let's keep going. I don't want this to drag on.
Anyway, we have a range of
What are we
Summer's
forgetting?
Rift changes that the team will talk about in a moment. And this year, we'll also talk about some updates to Swift Play. With that, we're going to
Sorry to pause, swapping over to YouTube. It just came out, higher quality, boom, enhanced bitrate, YouTube Premium, W.
Many of you liked what came with the themes, the map art up. We're going to hand it over to Riot Endstep and Freak, who will walk you through some of the Summoner's Rift changes coming in January.
Summoner's Rift changes, they're moving out the
Hey everyone, I'm Riot Endstep,
And I'm Freak.
and we're here to talk to you about the Summoner's Rift gameplay changes coming in January.
Over the last few years, League has been largely about team fighting over neutral objectives.
Talk to
Fighting
him.
around grubs, dragons, or that vision ward you just placed around grubs or dragons.
And while we know 5v5s make for some of the highest highs, we want to swing back towards a state where more strategies like splitting or sieging are more viable.
So we're making some changes to major neutral objectives, towers, and minions in order to do just that.
What?
Additionally, we're making adjustments to roles so everyone has an appropriate impact on the outcome of each game, because right now, some lanes are much better at turning a winning lane into a winning
Are they
game.
buffing bot lane?
We also have
Top
some
lane?
delightful improvements, so let's get started.
The first thing you'll notice in January is that the game starts faster. We want to reduce downtime after you load in, so minions and basic jungle camps first spawn 35 seconds earlier than they do
Really?
today.
Okay.
You'll still be able to
1:28
pull
spawn,
off
right?
early invades, but you'll have to be much more decisive
So it's like
when you load
55
in.
second
We're also
spawn?
making some changes to vision. It's an incredibly powerful tool in League, but right now it feels monopolized by supports and sometimes by junglers. We want to make effectively warding the map easier to learn for everyone, and give more opportunities and power towards drops by pushing champions, especially mid and top laners who are side laning later in the game.
So, we're adding Phaelites,
Phaelites.
locations that grant temporary bonus vision to wards with unique bonus vision areas for each
What?
spot. Some Phaelite rings will be available at the beginning of each game, while others reveal themselves when the Elemental Rift transforms, particularly those that would otherwise disrupt early game jungle.
How much vision does it give?
Okay, so on to the objectives. Otacon was one of the biggest additions to the
removing it,
Rift
right?
this year, and was a pretty cool, unique objective to fight over. That said, he contributed to objective fatigue, which many of you cited as an issue, and we agree. We wanted to alleviate this over time. We had removed the second form of Otacon, we removed the second set of grubs, but it really wasn't enough. So, just like Zehen did, we are cutting Otacon out of the game.
Boom, got
That
it.
includes Blood Roses and the petals with them.
That said, let us know what you think about limited time gameplay changes
Monster
and if there's
replacement.
something you'd like to see more of.
But back to Otacon, his removal also means that Baron will go back to his old 20-minute
20
spawn
minute
time.
Baron
Welcome
spawn.
back, King.
Additionally,
T1.
we're making all epic monsters more durable, especially late game dragons as you get closer to Dragon Soul.
Dragons are tankier.
That should make it so that it's easier for teams on the back foot to contest dragons and other epic monsters or trade something meaningful on the other side of the map.
Finally, we're also removing feats of strength from the game. We like
No
that they push
feat.
teams to progress the game and provided goals to rally around, but we think we can create better
Okay,
game
then what are they
systems
adding?
that
What are they adding?
allow for players to have more individual agency over their games.
I'm happy they got rid
With
of feat.
feats getting the boot, we're adding back some gold rewards for
boot.
first blood and first turret.
First one
Another
gold,
way
first one
we're
tower.
looking to improve sieging is with a new mechanic called Crystalline Overgrowth, which is kind of like a universal demolish effect.
What?
Crystals will build up on towers over several minutes, and
What?
when hit, they're consumed to deal an extra
What?
burst of damage based on how much buildup
Hey.
has accumulated. This should help enable pushing windows in more situations,
That's
even if
good
you're
for
behind
comebacks,
or
no?
don't have the highest DPS.
Comeback.
Demolish will be sticking around, but will be simplified to a good old 3-hit passive.
We love 3-hit passes.
Three
Yes, we
passive.
do.
Okay.
Turret plates will now stay on outer turrets permanently and will be added to the inner and inhibitor towers as well.
Plates
We're
on
doing this
all
to
towers,
create
except for
long-term
Nexus.
piecemeal rewards for pushing. No matter what state the turret's in, you're likely to mine some gold by taking aggressive actions. We're not
Okay.
adding more gold to the map with these changes. Instead, we're going to be basically spreading out
they're
the
spreading out the
current
gold
gold
of
for
the
killing a
actual
tower
tower.
and splitting it across the plates.
To further facilitate pushing, we're ramping up minion respawn rates in the late game to give more frequent access to sieging
Faster minion
turrets.
spawns.
We're also adjusting late game home guards to swiftly take you to your most
What?
pushed minion wave in each lane.
And finally, Nexus turrets will respawn with
hang on.
partial.
He said most pushed minion wave in each lane. So if your wave is deep, you can get to it faster.
You to your most pushed minion wave in each lane.
And finally, Nexus turrets will respawn with partial health missing. We like that the respawn allows a team to hold their base for a while
I
and
like
not
the
have to
full
worry about
respawn.
getting backdoored by a Twitch, but with a full health respawn, it meant that it
I
was
don't think they
honestly
do that.
incorrect for a sieging team to finish killing the turret sometimes.
Now, for our biggest change for next year, role quests.
Roll quests.
When you load into the game in January, top, bot, and mid lane will now have their own quests that reward unique power, similar to the jungle pet evolutions and the support item upgrades.
You'll progress these new quests by killing minions, champions, plates, towers, or epic objectives. All the things you'd normally be
Come
doing
bot,
in a
help me
game.
complete my quest.
You'll progress even faster by doing those in your assigned lane.
Your quest is decided by which role you've been assigned in the lobby. So if you and a friend or a stranger want to change roles, make sure you do an official trade in Champ Select.
One of our goals with these role quests is to buff top and bot carry relative to the other roles, as they're currently the two weakest, and as a result, the quest rewards are going to be comparatively stronger for them. Now, let's get into the rewards which will be granted in a new role quest slot.
Historically, top laners haven't always felt like they have the agency over the games that they deserved, even if they won their lane. And that's something we would like to change this season. Upon quest completion, top laners will receive pretty much Summoner Teleport for free on top.
Wait, they're making TP an achievable quest, so you have 3 summoner spells, so you can play top lane with Ignite or Exhaust or Ghost or... What the fuck? Wait, hold up.
Of the 2 summoners they already chose. Now, if you had taken Teleport in pregame, instead that spell gets a lot stronger, giving a very, very large shield when you use it. In addition to getting a functionally free summoner spell, top laners will also get a bunch of bonus XP up front, more XP from future sources, and an increased level cap.
Now, to mid lane. A huge
An increased level cap? Hold the fucking phone. So no, you won't get double TP, you'll get empowered TP. So when you
Pregame,
TP,
instead that spell gets a
I
lot
presume
stronger.
your TP is
giving
faster, because you have like this, I don't know if that's a Mundo thing, that purple aura, but anyway.
Very, very
You arrive and you get a monster shield.
large shield when you use it. In addition to getting a functionally free summoner spell, top laners will also get a bunch of bonus XP up front, more XP from future sources, and an increased
Where's
level cap.
Spouse?
Now, to
Where
mid
is he,
lane.
bro? He's mega
A huge
buffed.
variety of champions can be played there, so we wanted this reward to be good whether you're mage, assassin, or both, like Malphite mid.
What is mid?
And upon completing the quest, mid laners will receive a free tier 3 boot upgrade like the ones you could buy with feats, as well as a faster recall.
Rounding it out
What?
for new quests in
Like the ones
And the faster recall.
you could buy with feats, as
Baron buff recall all game.
well as a faster recall.
rounding it out
What are
for
the
new
carries
quests
getting? A
in
fucking
bot lane,
minigun?
we're going to lean even harder into the carry part of the role. So while
Don't say
top laners are
free
getting
item.
bonus XP,
Don't say free
bot
item.
laners are getting a whole bunch of extra gold. With
How much?
completing their quest, they get a lump sum of gold, increased gold from minion kills, champ kills, and champion assists for the rest of the game. And you might be asking, well then what do I do with all this gold if I hit item cap? Don't worry, the item cap is going up. Your 7th item slot will hold your boots permanently, allowing you to get 6 full legendary
7
items for
items!
extra hard late game scaling.
7 items.
Jungle and support already have quests and rewards, but we still wanted to take this opportunity to make some changes to them. Jungle is by far the strongest role in the game right now, especially when it comes to early map influence, so we're slightly lowering the speed of early game clears to give lane matchups a little bit more time to play out uninterrupted.
So you have to, it takes longer
We're
to
also
clear
making
camps.
it harder for non-junglers to steal objectives by increasing their resists and making Smite deal more damage.
Okay.
Their role quest is still getting pet upgrades and PvP smite like before, and they're now getting increased golden XP from large monsters
Okay,
when a
so
quest
fuck
is done,
junglers,
as
basically.
well as bonus movement speed in
Fuck
the jungle.
junglers.
Similar to jungle, we think support is already plenty powerful and has a very functional role quest, so we didn't want to directly increase their power.
Nerfed.
With that in mind, we wanted to give them quality of life oriented upgrades, so we're giving them a new slot exclusively for control wards, discounts on control wards, and a little bit more gold over time so they can keep pace a little better with the other roles.
Overall, we want these quests to represent...
35 seconds faster?
Huh? 35 seconds faster. Yeah, the game starts like 55 seconds. Wait, so they get a vision
A new
control
slot
wards?
exclusively
Wait till you see the quests for lanes.
for control wards, discounts on control wards,
Crazy.
and a little bit more gold over time so they can keep
Gold
pace
over
a little
time is
better
nice.
with the other roles.
Overall, we want these quests to represent meaningful power spikes in a way that leans into the unique strengths of
The
each
mid lane
role.
one is crazy.
This also allows us to delete the lane swap detective mechanic that we added last year to combat pro lane swapping. We'll be keeping a close eye on how quests land, so please let us know your thoughts next year.
So everything is very lane dependent. So I presume that the quest itself of achieving minion goals, I presume like for top laners, is the gold and minions have to be killed in the lane of top lane, right? So you can't swap to like, if you swap top level 3 with your bot, I guess you're delaying your quest or some shit, right? So swaps are just cooked. I don't know, I think the mid lane one's good. The AD carry one sounds good, but it sounds good for late game. It doesn't sound like an urgency. The mid lane one
But
sounds
role
broken.
quests aren't all we have planned to make your champions feel more satisfying. We're going to bring back a few items to the Rift for each class.
They're bringing
to
back
give them some
Gunblade.
shiny new toys, including bringing back a few familiar favorites like Hextech Gunblade.
For example, we're adding the new Scepter of Bonking for AP fighters, which will empower your Spellblade Bonk to double your on-hit effects.
They made an item called the Spellblade Bonk. Or is that a hello?
That's not the final name, is it?
Oh, okay.
I would like it, but no, we're probably going to give it something in canon.
I do love bonking. Well, anyway, given none of these names are final, if you're an AD fighter without a good way to get Omnivamp, you can grab Blood Sphere, which will give you some Omnivamp and also ability haste scaling with your AD.
Or if you play an AD carry who's really good at
Ability
auto
haste-
spacing, you can pick up
ability
Snowbow.
haste scaling with your AD. Wait, Bruiser tops are just eating it up. Ignite lane
For
phases,
extra range
more
on
ability
takedown,
haste,
plus
Omnivamp.
damage amp based on how far away you are from your opponents.
We took a hard look at which subclasses didn't feel like they were getting enough support from the current item system and worked to fill those spaces. So we're hoping many champions have at least one of the 9 new items that they can get excited about.
Speaking of which, we're also adding crit damage back to 200%.
Back to 100%.
All right. We know that was a lot to cover. We're excited to hear what you think of all these changes as the
What
new
is it
season
now? It's like
kicks off.
175, isn't it, or some
And in
shit?
case you're looking for even more details or insights on these changes, make sure to check out the dev blog that's live right now.
That's it from us on the Summoners Rift team, and so we'll throw it back to Pablo and Medler, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Wait, what's next?
Okay, let's talk about ranked.
Bro, there's so much to talk about in those things. Should we finish or should we go back? Oh my goodness.
This year we've been making improvements to shorten queue times and make your matches more fair through improvements to inting and griefing detection. And, more recently, we ran a test in late September that reduced queue times by 40% at all ranks, in ranked, in EU West and Oceania. We want to double down on that work and make 2026 the best time yet to climb.
So next year, we'll be also tackling 2 common frustrations, mismatched teams and long queues. Something we want to address is visual rank disparity in lobbies as well. When players start their climbs late after a reset, you may see a bronze player in an otherwise gold game, which can feel particularly unfair. When in reality, that player was gold last season, but they haven't gotten back to that rank yet because they've had less time to play. So we're adding a climb indicator to loading screens when a player's MMR is higher than their visible rank. This
big
will
W.
let other players know that you're climbing quickly and your displayed rank hasn't caught up yet.
W
We're
change.
also making changes to how flex and solo duo MMR are calculated. A common pain point is someone who is silver in flex and, say, diamond in solo duo just stomping a bunch of games, when in reality they're truly diamond in both ladders.
Ooh, they're mixing
So
it.
this
They're-
season,
they're
if your solo
meshing it
duo
together.
MMR is much higher than your flex MMR, the system should bring your flex rank
W,
a lot closer
W.
to your solo duo
Actually,
one.
not a W. Playing with
And
friends
that
is
should
like
mean
Silver's
flex
fun, but playing
matchups
against noobs is not fun.
feel a fair bit more balanced.
I see it, I see
forwards.
it. Can't really
Next,
boost
we're
now,
making
yeah.
changes to autofill. The reality of League is that certain roles are substantially more popular than others, and having an autofill jungler versus a jungle main can
True.
feel like an auto loss.
True.
This means that quite often people either dodge to avoid it
True.
or hold your lobby hostage in order to get you
He
to
sounds
dodge.
like he's talking from
When
experience.
nobody likes queue times,
He's the
this is an awful
hostage
experience.
taker.
So we have a number of changes to make autofill fairer, and to reward you for sticking with the role you're assigned when you do get autofilled. First, if someone on your team is autofilled, the system will try to match autofilled players by
W.
role. So an autofilled jungler versus another autofilled
fucking
jungler,
W.
for example. If it can't match by roles, it will then of course fall back and try to ensure the same number of autofilled players
That's a nice
on each
change.
team. We do know, though, that even with that balance, autofill games can still feel discouraging when you play your best in a role that you didn't choose. That's why we're adding a new system called Aegis or Valor. If you're autofilled and earn a mastery score of C or greater, the Aegis will trigger. You won't lose any LP on a loss, or you'll earn double LP for a win.
So for those of you
What? If you're autofilled
If you're autofilled and earn a mastery score of C or greater, the Aegis will trigger. You won't lose any LP on a loss, or you'll earn double LP for a win.
So for those of you who main less popular roles,
Wait, I don't get that. So you join the Aegis of Valor, and if you get autofilled, your match history on autofilled has its own ranked. You have like an autofill rank. Or what? So if you're doing well in autofill and winning in autofill, you get more LP or what? I don't get it.
That's why we're adding a new system called Aegis of Valor. If you're autofilled
If you are autofilled and you earn a mastery score
and
of
earn
C
a
or
mastery
greater,
score
which I
of C or
presume is
greater,
in the
Aegis
Aegis
will
of Valor.
trigger. You won't lose any LP on a loss, or you'll earn double LP for a win.
so for those of you who main less popular roles and therefore seldom get autofilled, first of all, thanks.
You just
we
get
haven't
more
forgotten
LP
about you.
/
You'll
don't
still
lose if you're autofilled.
occasionally receive the Aegis benefit at about the same rate as other players because we want to reward the role
sorry.
heroes who keep the queue healthy and moving. Finally,
Oh,
we
yeah,
know
see.
how frustrating it is to be constantly returned to the queue
you.
because you get enchained dodges lobby after lobby. So we've made a few updates.
First, after a positive response to our pilot test, we're removing the ability to ban a hovered allied champion, taking away an opportunity for a teammate to tilt off the planet before the match even starts. And then second, dodging a lobby will no longer allow players to escape autofill. It'll just get carried over to the next lobby. We think that
But it sounds like they're encouraging you should be playing as an autofill now.
the Aegis of Valor should provide a solid reward for sticking around and trying. So, I mean, come on, it's double LP for a win, after all.
And you lose nothing.
And at Master and above, dodging an autofill will count as a full loss.
We know that this is a pretty big change from how we've dealt with dodging in the past, and we believe that this will lead to higher quality and faster games. Speaking of speeding things up, we're also speeding up Champ Select by cutting down on timers and animations, which should save about half a minute.
I see what you did there.
Yep, no, I did it.
He did
And
it
if that wasn't
quickly,
enough,
that's why
we've
he
got
saved
one
time.
last ranked change. We're adding back duo queue to higher ranks, including
Duo queue and
Challenger,
Chal.
in most regions. For so many people, League is better with friends. And in the past, we disabled duoing at Apex tier ranks because it's so often led to rank manipulation. But, because of the improvements we mentioned earlier, as well as the ongoing work
The
on
content
boosting
is
rank
back.
manipulation detection, we're confident that we can bring back high MMR
I can help
duoing
Neme get rank
without
1.
it being so abused.
So, call up your friends. It's duo time.
Neme, we can duo in
Switching
Chal.
gears, let's talk about Swift Play. Swift Play is pretty popular,
He's ignoring me.
and we think there's a lot of room for further improvement. And we want Swift Play to be that place where you can get in a quick game, where you and or some friends can practice new champions, or where new players can come and learn and get their footing on the Rift.
That means Swift Play should still be somewhat competitive while providing quicker queues, faster games, and serving both new and existing players. So, we're rolling out some changes that should address the overall pacing, touching objectives, laning, and the jungle.
I think quick play is a good
To start
good
with, we're
mode.
bringing over a lot of the changes to Summoner's Rift generally that were talked about earlier in this video, except for role quests. Now, for Swift Play specific changes though, the first thing we're tackling is game pacing. Swift Play games are actually a bit long, and the general consensus is there isn't quite enough action. So things like long death timers, focusing on CSing
Swift
and
Play's
lane,
good.
and objective overload all take
like
away
playing a
from the
mobile game.
promise of Swift Play. So we want to get you to the action faster and more often.
Now, while some of the Season 1 changes
say
will help
ARAM, say
address
ARAM.
this, you'll also start Swift Play at level 3 with some extra gold similar to ARAM. We're also lowering death timers across the entire game so you're getting back into the action quicker. And in order to keep the game from stalling out, we look for ways for you to capitalize on the shorter death windows. So we're increasing the minion spawn frequency, putting cannon minions in every wave after the third, and introducing a new mechanic that we're calling Minion Frenzy.
If you kill an enemy champion near your minions, they'll be inspired by your actions. They'll get enraged and attack faster and deal more damage.
Damn.
We're also going to be making some adjustments to tower durability and making sudden death start a little bit earlier. And thus,
I don't play Swift.
Swift.
But I get it. They're
Outside
making
of
it
pacing,
swifter.
we also want to decrease objective overload. While the removal of Artican helps,
Something else is
we're
coming.
also going to be removing the Grubs and Rift Herald.
Baron and Elder Dragon will also be spawning earlier, with Elder spawning at 15 minutes regardless of whether
Elder
the
at
Dragon
15
Soul
minutes.
has been claimed. The game-ending power of these buffs being accessible much sooner should help in closing games a
Elder
bit
at 15
faster
minutes in
than what we're
Swiftplay.
currently seeing.
W. That's a W.
And with Elder Dragon moving up, the Elemental Rift will transform after 1 dragon, and you'll get the Soul after 2. Finally, rounding out these changes for Swiftplay, Jungle. Now currently, if you're not a seasoned jungle main, it can actually be pretty overwhelming in Swiftplay. These broader pacing changes around
Say you're
neutral
making
objectives
classic League
should
do
make
it, I
it feel
dare
much
you.
more comfortable, and like you're not being
Say League
swarmed
2.
with objectives all the time.
Now we know this is a ton of information and changes, but the goal
What
here
is it?
is for Swiftplay to feel swifter without it being so dense that it's overwhelming. We have a dev blog coming out today that will cover all of these changes, plus a lot more detail behind the specifics, so if you want to learn more, go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm Dashi Jador, product lead, back again to chat about WASD, this time with...
What's
The
the
tech
D?
lead for WASD. I'm Riot, call me KT.
Now that Worlds is over and we're getting closer to the end of the year, we want to check back in on the wild world of WASD. We've been on the PvE for a few months now, and in that time we've caught and squashed over 100 bugs.
Big.
All thanks to the feedback we received from all of you creative, maybe a little unhinged PvE players who've been helping us find, identify, and crush all of these pesky bugs. An extra special thanks to the players who are able to re-trigger the notorious new bug. Even beyond bugs, PvE players have been giving us great recommendations and requests.
One Redditor recommended that we add an option to do a single button input to move at a 45-degree angle up and down the lane. It sounded pretty wild at first, but we found through our
Wild
internal
rift.
testing that it actually saved a lot of finger pain. So it will be available as an accessibility option for WASD players going forward. Since our debut on the PvE, we've been continuously updating all the different facets of WASD. We've made improvements to navigating around minions, wall sliding, the new dynamic lock camera, and more. One of these features is a new auto attack system for WASD. With practice and dedication, you'll be able to weave attacks and movement, matching the experience in point and click to reach your optimum DPS.
Really?
Our goal is to keep WASD as an alternative control scheme at all levels of play, not just for brand new players. We'll be keeping an eye on feedback as well as our internal data to ensure it remains an equitable
Wall
experience.
slide.
We've also been updating our dynamic locked camera. We've added the highly requested ability to tune the camera speed to your liking. Along with these settings, we heard your feedback on wanting a way to scout ahead, to check for
Timo.
ganks, look at other lanes, and much more. So we've introduced a new feature appropriately named the Scout Ahead mode. When you're in dynamic locked camera, you can hold your middle mouse button to freely move your camera and you'll snap back on release. These features, along with all the bug fixes, will be available when WASD goes live tomorrow in all queues except ranked
more
and
line,
normal
one more
draft
line, hold up.
games. We're choosing to keep WASD out of draft modes for now, as we want to make sure you can have a smooth process for your ranked climb.
Really? Tomorrow?
Well, WASD will be live in all unranked queues except normal draft in patch 25.24, which for many of you should be tomorrow.
We saw your requests and questions about other features we've promised, like champion-specific keybinds
WASD
and
is up.
enabling many of these new features for point-and-click players. We're still working on them, and much more to come.
We're at the point where we want to focus on getting large amounts of player data in order to drive our development further. So we're opening up the feedback channels to our much more global audience. Now, we still don't have the exact timeline on when WASD will come to ranked. We want to ship it when it's ready, which means fair, balanced, bug-free, and smooth to play.
Please keep up the feedback and bug reports. There may still be a few stragglers out there. Only through our powers combined can we find all of them.
That's it for us. Be sure to check back out on WASD when it's live and
power
send
of
your
friendship.
bugs, feedback, and best misplays.
Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you WASDing on the Rift.
W.
So how are your pickums?
Not great. Bit too much hopium when I filled them out.
I know how it feels, but
I listened to
the
Caedrel,
whole
my
feels
pickums
feeling
suck.
good for me. I think I'm actually feeling great.
Really?
Totally.
Uh-huh. Who's wearing the suit then?
We don't know.
Not gonna be me.
I mean, we'll see.
Good luck.
Okay.
Okay, we know that this was a long one with a lot of info in it. And we'll see you again in January as mentioned to talk a bit more about Season 1 and a little bit about the rest of 2026.
Don't forget that ranked will stay open until the new season, so go finish your climb.
just for me, by
have
the
a
way, to get my
happy and
child.
safe holiday season, and we'll see you on the Winter Rift.
Mamma mia.
Up the map with these changes.
Consume.
Baus, did you see the changes?
Oh, I don't want to be spoiled.
You don't want to spoiled? Okay. Crowny, did you read them? Crazy business. Crazy business. Crazy business. Baus doesn't want to be spoiled. He's going to look at it after his game. So, a quick recap. A quick recap. There's a new vision system. There's these things called something fairies. What was it called? Phalites that give bonus vision for laners especially. Because it was too one-dimensional through support jungle. Atakan is gone. Baron's back at 20. Dragons are tankier. There's something called crystalline overgrowth on towers, where if you don't hit them for a certain period of time, the crystalline
Towers over several
builds
minutes,
up.
and
When you hit them, it explodes and does bonus damage to get the towers. All towers have plates on them now to spread the gold evenly. You run to lanes faster, to lanes that are pushed out,
home guards to swiftly take you to your
most pushed out minion waves. Then there's role quests. Feats of strength are gone. Each role has a different quest. Not sure what the specific quest is, but top laners unlock teleport if they don't have it. And if they already have teleport, then they can TP in with a shield and it's empowered. So yeah, there are 3 summoner spells for an OP TP. Mid lane, if they complete their quest, they get tier 3 boot upgrades and they get Herald Baron recall for the whole game. AD carry finishes it and gets bonus gold.
When completing their quest, they get a lump sum of gold, increased gold.
They get bonus gold and their boots take that slot. So you can see here there's no boots in the inventory. So you can get to 7 items. Boots and 6 damage items, or survival. So AD carry one is very scaling heavy. For jungle, it's just their clear is going to be slower, because the game is going to start now at 55 seconds, I think, roughly. I don't know the exact timer, but it's starting 35 seconds earlier. So I'm going to guess around 55 seconds the game starts for jungle spawn. And the clear is slower, so they can't affect the laners anymore.
We're also making it harder for non-junglers.
It's also harder to steal objectives, because Smite is more OP. The role quest for jungle is the same. Upgrade your pet, but you'll do more damage and get more XP. Also, top laners, I forgot to say when they finish their quest, not only do they get a 3rd summoner spell, they also get a bunch of bonus XP.
Get a bunch of bonus XP up front, more XP
from future sources, and they get to increase the level cap. He's level 19. Same thing for AD carry. They get increased gold from minions and champion kills
for the rest of the game, and you might
Well,
then what do I do with all this gold?
And then supports just get control wards and discounts on them and more gold over time. The Nexus towers respawn at half HP now, and a few items have come back. There's Hextech Gunblade, and there will be a Spellblade Fighter AP item, which doubles on hit effects, and there will be an item called Blood Sphere, which gives you Omnivamp, but also Ability Haste that scales with your AD.
Or if you play an AD carry who's really good at auto spacing, you can pick up Snowbow for extra range on takedown. Plus,
you can get something called Snowbow.
Auto spacing.
That does what?
You can pick up Snowbow for extra range on takedown. Plus
damage amp based on how far away from your opponents.
How far away you are from your opponents.
We took a hard look at which subclasses didn't feel like they were getting enough support from the current
so a lot's changing
to fill those spaces. So we're hoping many champions have at least one of the 9 new items that they
can. A lot is changing.
Speaking of which, we're also adding crit damage back to 20%.
And crit damage back to 20%. I think it's a 175 right now.
We know that was a lot to cover.
Jesus, man. I don't really understand the thing that I think is also really important. We've got some more leaks here. Is this autofill thing? I'm still confused by it. So there's a new system called Aegis of Valor, right? So if you're autofilled and you earn a mastery score of C or greater, when he says earn a mastery score of C or greater, what does that mean? Does that mean in the game that you played, if you played at a certain level? I don't understand what is mastery score. So if you like smurfed in your autofill game
and earn a mastery score of C or greater,
but isn't it pretty easy to hit C?
The Aegis will trigger.
You won't lose any LP when you lose, but you'll earn double LP for win. So what happens if I get an auto-filled noob and the game's lost and they're just playing for stats? So they don't lose, I guess, so they don't int, right? You won't lose any LP on a loss, but you'll get double LP for the win.
Any LP on a loss, or you'll earn double LP for a
win. But what happens if you queue up fill? Wait, they removed that, didn't they? You can't queue fill anymore. No, you can queue fill. That doesn't count as autofill though, right? So actually being autofilled is a blessing. It's a fucking double LP. Double LP on autofill? Bro, autofill me up every game. Every game, do it. I would love to be autofilled. Any game, every game.
When?
So for those of you
Okay, wow.
It's a state where more strategies like splitting
Just that.
has an
Also, they've made it so obviously it's lane quests, right? So everything you do is lane based, so you can't lane swap anymore. These are the items coming out. There is X-Tech Gunblade, Storm Razor is coming back, Scepter of Bonking, an AP fighter sheen that doubles your on hits, letting some AP fighters with powerful on hits in their kit pop off by skipping forward one extra hit. AP checks. Mananomicon, an item with a new active, the first one in a while. This AP item can be activated to enter an empowered state for a short duration while you consume significantly more mana, but your spells deal more damage and have lower cooldowns. The extra damage, healing, and shielding on your spell scales with your mana. Rise. Emblem of All-Inning, a Zeal item for AD carries that like to ult and pop off. This item gives ultimate ability. It's basically Hexblade for AD carries, well, plus a burst of attack speed and guaranteed crit strikes for 3 attacks after ulting. If you would have already crit on these autos, you instead gain bonus true damage. Okay. Snowbow. This is a long-range item AD carry. It increases your attack damage based on how far away you are from your target and on takedowns. You also get a large amount of extra attack range for a while to help clean up fights. The Blood Sphere is the AD Omnivamp item that gives you ability haste based on your AD. For AD Assassin items, this item offers a way to help end the game. Whenever you get a takedown, it grants a buff that makes your next attack against an epic monster or tower deal a large amount of damage over time, scaling with your lethality, making it so that ahead AD Assassins can close out games if they're successfully assassinating their targets. It also gives some extra true damage to a spell every so often based on your lethality. Mantle of the 12th Hour, a lifeline item for tanks. This item gives a large heal overtime effect when you get low that scales off of your bonus armor and MR. While you're healing off this item, you also gain move speed and tenacity to enable you to go forward and tank more. An aura item buff engine with a bit of gameplay. This is an attack speed aura item for tanky melee support that turns on the aura for a while after you slow or immobilize an enemy. The duration is much longer for melee champs in range. It's easier to maintain it. It's basically old Nunu W or what, where you give them fucking attack speed. But it's like Zeke's plus Nunu W. There's one called the Savior's Mana Bell and Super Bell. This 2-item set is a new upgradable tier item for enchanters. Mana Bell grants heal and shield power based on your mana, and when upgraded into Super Bell at max tier stacks, it also heals your lowest nearby ally every second while in combat with enemy champions, scaling the heal based off your mana. What the fuck, man? It's a monstrous patch. It is a fucking monstrous patch. Obviously, these names aren't decided, right? These are temporary names. I love this. I love these kind of changes. This is amazing. I think the new map's going to look great. Baron's going to spawn earlier. Everyone's going to be trying to complete their quests. I would love it if you could... I hope you can track what the enemy quest is so you can shut it down. But I presume the quests will be to do with, like, hit a certain level, kill a certain amount of minions. You could do kills, but kills are a bit sketchy to do for quests. The AD carry one just sounds like Cull, basically, right? You just get Cull, you do your quest, you get gold, then you get 7 items, and then you get more golden XP on minions. I need to finish my quest, I think the most interesting one actually is the top lane one, no? If you're going to play top laners now and go past the level cap, get bonus XP, you have 3 summoners, you can play with Ignite.
Just like Zehen did.
That's, I'm actually also happy Atakan's gone, you know? I think that objective was just toxic. Everyone clicks Atakan and flip the game. Gives the game a bit more of a streamlined approach. Wow, okay, Insanity. That's the 2026 patch so far. So only AD carries can get 7 links. They did say in the video that you can do quests in other lanes, but it'll be faster in your own lane. Makes sense. I also enjoy the way... I think that the meta of the world right now is everything's very fast-paced. So it's very, you know, zoomery attention span. But I also kind of like the fact that the game starts earlier and it's a bit faster, you know. You know, like they said, the draft phase is faster, the game is faster, the queue times are faster, autofills encouraged, everything's just increased in speed. We saw all this. The dev blog also notes, while earlier changes should make help pushing more viable, we're introducing a new mechanic to rule this strategy. Additionally, melee champions now deal 20% damage, increase the turrets, simplifying rules and rewarding aggressive plays. You can do 20% more damage to towers as a melee. These are the items. Aegis of Valor, no LP lost, occasionally awarded for earning a C or higher rank on a priority role. Playing priority roles keeps the game queue healthy. Wow, that sounds amazing. This Aegis of Valor sounds great. Also the fact they're making it so autofill players versus autofill players, that's really nice. Minions spawn at 65 seconds, but this will drop to 30 seconds. So minions spawn at 30 seconds. What? Make sure you take that piss in draft, because the second you come back, the game started instantly. Wow, did I miss anything? I feel like I've hit everything. Epic monsters are being slightly adjusted for more strategic play. They'll be roughly 15% more durable. But invading sounds hard. 30 seconds? It's really hard to invade, isn't it? Or is it even better to invade? First Blood and First Blood Tower now grant standardized gold rewards, 100 and 300 gold respectively. You fight in River for like 10 seconds and it's already time to, time to strap in. Wow, okay, that's 2026 League of Legends. I'm excited. I think the Demacia map looks great as well. I love the Demacia style. I love that. Those colors are great on the eyes. They just look visually nice,